To the November 12th, 2025 Flagler County Planning and Development Board meeting. We'll go ahead and start with roll call.
Anthony Lombardo,
Here.
Timothy Connor,
Here.
Michael Goodman, Dan Wilcox.
Here.
We do have a full quorum.
Let's go ahead and stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 on the agenda is to approve the minutes for the October 14th meeting. Has everybody taken a look at them? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I didn't attend the last meeting. I was out of town.
You were not here, that's correct.
So I don't think
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
I have a motion. All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll go ahead and move forward. The minutes are approved. What's that? Oh. All in favor? Aye. The meeting is a quasi-judicial process. The audience should refrain from clapping, booing, or shouts of approval or disagreement to avoid potential legal ramifications and possible overturning of a decision by the courts. A public hearing must be fair in 3 respects: form, substance, and appearance. The process of the meeting, staff will have 10 minutes for presentation. Applicant will have 15 minutes for presentation, unless time extended by the board. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, 5 minutes if a speaker is speaking on behalf of a group. Applicant will have time for rebuttal and staff comments, 10 minutes each. Let's go to item number 4, which is a quasi-judicial process. This is project number 20250900040. It's a request for a variance in the Plan Unit Development District. Does anyone have any disclosure for quasi-judicial ex parte communication? Since we have none, we will go ahead and have staff with their presentation.
Good evening, Simone Kenny, planner. This request is located in the Sea Colony subdivision up in the Hammock. You did receive 2 similar requests to this one back at the September meeting, so it'll be following a similar process. The future land use is mixed use, low intensity. Zoning is PUD. It is located in a particular flood hazard, being located in flood zone AE. The soils are primarily well draining fine sands, and there are no wetlands on the property. The property is described as lot 267 of the Sea Colony subdivision. It's about 100 feet deep, about 45 feet wide. And again, you saw 2 similar requests to this back in September. Many of the homes in the Sea Colony subdivision have rear enclosures that have a 10-foot minimum required rear setback, whereas the primary structure has a 20-foot setback. Based on the way that the plat addendum for the subdivision differentiates between the screen enclosure and the primary structure, enclosing the screen enclosure with windows triggers that primary structure setback of 20 feet, thus requiring a variance. In this case, the screen enclosure is 11 feet from the rear property line, requiring a 9-foot rear setback in order to be able to enclose that rear enclosure with windows. So again, to summarize, the lot is just over 5,000 square feet. It's lot 267 of Sea Colony. Enclosing the screen enclosure triggers that 20-foot rear setback. And again, the specific request is for a 9-foot rear east yard setback variance from the minimum required 20-foot rear yard setback at 32 Avalon Terrace. This is a before-the-fact variance request, and no public comments have been received. Our favorite part, reading the variance guidelines into the record. Number one, asking that there are no extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property in question because of its size, shape, topography, or other unique features that, when considered in whole or in part, creates an unnecessary hardship. Staff found that the property is not particularly unique compared to other lots of the Sea Colony subdivision. However, the screen enclosure with its hard roof is already existing in its current footprint. The interpretation as to how the plat addendum differentiates between a screen enclosure and the primary dwelling does create a hardship. Number two, asking that such conditions were not created by the affirmative actions of the applicant. The screen enclosure, again with its hard roof, was built prior to the current owners purchasing the property. These conditions were not created by the affirmative actions of the applicant. Number three, asking that the variance, if granted, would not cause substantial detriment to the public health, welfare, safety, or morals of the community. The screen enclosure already exists within its current footprint and is not being expanded, and therefore the variance would not cause detriment to the public health, welfare, and safety. And then number four, asking that no variance may be granted for use of land or building that is not permitted. The enclosed screen enclosure would be a residential use that is permitted by the plat addendum of Sea Colony. And then finally, a variance, if granted, shall be the minimum variance necessary to alleviate the hardship. And as the footprint of the screen enclosure is not proposed to be expanded, it would be the minimum variance necessary. So your options as the board are to find that all the variance criteria as listed have been met and therefore approve project 2025090040 for a 9-foot rear east yard setback variance from the minimum required 20-foot rear yard setback at 32 Avalon Terrace. Or you can find that all the variance criteria as listed have not been met and therefore deny the project. Or you can determine that more information is needed and continue the request to a time and date certain. With that, I will close out, awaiting any questions or comments from the board, and submit my report for the record.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions for the board from? None at all. All right, in that case, we will have the applicant presentation. The applicant would like to step up.
Mr. Chair, if you would, could we swear everybody in before we do?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody who intends to speak tonight, either as an applicant or in public comment, if you would please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you are going to give today is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, you may be seated. Thank you.
Come on up. You'll take that mic there, and please state your name and who you are,
Michael
where you're
Cummins
from.
for the project 2025090040. Same thing as we did last month.
Your name, sir?
Michael Cummings,
From,
Creative Finishes.
thank you. Any presentation?
No, it's the same thing we did last month. We're just
Okay.
we're closing the screen enclosure. Nothing really different. We're putting windows in, gonna make it structurally sound, and add the square footage back to the house.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board for the applicant? None? In that case, we'll open it up to public comment. Anyone have any comment on this application, please come on up to the podium, state your name, where you're from. Right, we'll go ahead and close public comment. Any board discussion at this time? Or would anyone like to make a motion for this
I'll
item?
make a motion to approve the application as stated.
Okay, we
Variance.
have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussions? I call in question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well,
Actually,
we have to do the,
we have to do a roll call vote.
The roll
I
call.
apologize.
yes, no, that's fine.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to approve the variance. Dan Wilcox,
Aye.
Timothy Connor,
Aye.
Michael Goodman, Anthony Lombardo,
Aye.
The motion does pass unanimously.
Thank you very much. On to the next application. Do I have to call, so you go ahead now and call out that it's unanimous or descending now after we do, so we don't have to.
Yeah, I will.
Chair doesn't have to worry about, okay.
Yep,
All
you're
right,
good.
thank you. All right. Project number 20250800044. This is a request for a special exemption in the residential limited commercial district. This is also a quasi-judicial requiring disclosure of any ex parte communication. Anyone? Mr. Goodman?
I had previously owned that piece of property and was sold to the people that are here presently.
Thank you. Anyone else on the board?
I need to sit back out of this one. Is this Cinnamon Grove, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to recuse myself.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox.
Is that the proper procedure? Does he recuse or just refrain from voting?
He does have to recuse himself and file the form, which I understand he already has.
Okay. Does that, we've got a quorum for the meeting. Do we have a quorum for this item?
As long as you have a quorum for the meeting, you're fine.
Okay, that was
Okay.
took my question. All right, we will move forward with staff presentation.
The subject property is located again up in the Hammock in the Cinnamon Grove Village subdivision on the corner of Cinnamon Grove Lane and North Ocean Shore Boulevard, just north of Jungle Hut Road. The future land use is mixed use, low intensity. The zoning is RC, residential limited commercial. It is not located in a particular flood hazard, being in flood zone X. There's a mixture of well-draining soils. This special exception request is to allow for professional offices. The proposed site plan shows a layout for a 2-story commercial office building, as well as 41 parking spaces, 39 regular, 2 ADA. Access is proposed off of Cinnamon Grove Lane. For the purposes of looking at this site plan, it is switched, so north is at the bottom here, A1A on the west, on the right-hand side. A little bit closer up, the structure is proposed to be about 25 feet from the rear property line. Again, that's the south property line. Over 100 feet from the west property line from A1A, over 100 feet from the east property line, and over 100 feet from the north property line. And here, it's a little bit difficult to see in the site plan, but the actual proposed office building is about just over 5,000 square feet. These lines here, and then there is also a proposed outdoor seating area that's just over 3,000 square feet. So a lot of words, a lot of verbiage, going over the pertinent details. The property is about 1.5 acres. It is lot 14 of Cinnamon Grove Village. This parcel and the parcel to the north, just on the other side of Cinnamon Grove Lane, were approved previously for a special exception, I believe back in 2004. So this is a new special exception request that would override the old one. Again, this is for professional offices, for a 2-story commercial building, about 5,000 square feet, 4,875 of which are gross leasable area. That's the factor we take into consideration when calculating the minimum parking area, or the minimum number of parking spaces. In this case, I believe it came out to be about 25 to 30. The applicants are providing over 40, so they do meet their minimum parking requirements. There's, again, about 1,000 square feet of outdoor seating area. They are meeting all of their minimum required rear setbacks, as well as the 50-foot separation from the nearest residential building. The site drains primarily to the south and then into pipes that convey the stormwater into the Cinnamon Grove Village stormwater system. Again, there's 39 regular parking spaces, 2 ADA compliant spaces. The driveway connection is to Cinnamon Grove Village. On that road, there is a security gate or a privacy gate to the rest of the subdivision, which is residential. The driveway connection is to the west of that, so it would be open to the public. All of the required landscape buffers are proposed, most of which utilize existing native vegetation. The applicant proposed to modify the existing Cinnamon Grove Village monument sign. And then the AOA Scenic Committee did review it. In the backup, I had mistakenly uploaded the A1A Scenic Pride Committee's preliminary comments. And then I did forward you an email earlier today with their actual review comments. And at the very bottom, that's cut off. We received no public comments or letters of objection thus far. Again, just for some better context, this is the plat to the Cinnamon Grove Village subdivision, the subject property being Lot 14. The previous special exception applied to both Lot 14 and Lot 1, but this request is just for this property, Lot 14. Here's the proposed landscape plan. There's a 15-foot buffer to the rear, a 25 on the west, or sorry, excuse me, the east, another 15-foot to the front, and the minimum 40-foot required buffer along A1A. Again, primarily utilizing the natural native landscape areas. And here's a sheet from the grading and stormwater plan showing the stormwater conveyance down into the existing Cinnamon Grove Village stormwater plan. And I believe this drains then east to the back of the subdivision and then ultimately into the Hammock Dune system. This is not a requirement of the special exception application, but the applicants did provide a full set of building plans with layouts, so I included them here as well, just for context. This would be the first floor of the building, primarily composed of lobby space, potentially a conference room area, as well as that outdoor seating area. And then this is the spiral staircase that goes to the second floor, which houses most of the offices. And then this was a rendering that was also included in those building plans to provide some better understanding and context of how the site would look. Again, this would be north, A1A along here. This does not show the parking area, but that would be here. And then here's the proposed garbage dumpster location.
Go back one picture, please. Thank you.
And so just like we read our variance criteria into the record, we're going to read our special exception guidelines. That's a typo there. Again, there's 9 special exception criteria upon which the Planning and Development Board makes its decision. Number 1, asking that all ingress and egress from the property shall provide for the automotive and pedestrian safety and convenience, shall not unduly interfere with traffic flow and control, and shall provide access in case of fire catastrophe. Access to the property is proposed through a 27-foot wide driveway that has a 2-foot median connected again to Cinnamon Grove Lane, located directly to the north of the property. A1A Scenic Corridor Overlay District access standard states that for corner parcels less than 1 acre, which wouldn't necessarily be the case for this 1.5 acre parcel, within the A1A Scenic Corridor, access only from local streets shall be allowed, which is why, and that should say Cinnamon Grove Village, or Cinnamon Grove Lane was chosen over North Ocean Shore Boulevard. Additionally, Cinnamon Grove Village has a private gate to the residential portion of the subdivision located approximately 285 feet east of the intersection of Cinnamon Grove Lane and North Ocean Shore Boulevard. The proposed driveway connection is located westward of this gate to ensure public access. And then as an en bloc parcel located on the east side of North Ocean Shore Boulevard, any pedestrian or bicycle access would be able to access the existing multi-use greenway trail located along A1A. Number 2, asset off-street parking and loading areas shall be provided as required. The applicant is proposing 39 regular parking spaces and 2 handicap accessible spaces. They do meet the minimum 9 feet by 20 feet dimensions required by the LDC and will be paved. Again, with the parking requirement of 1 space for every 200 square feet of gross leasable area, 25 total off-street spaces are the minimum required, so they are meeting the minimum. Number 3, refuse and service areas shall be located with consideration for the above. The applicant is proposing a dumpster located at the eastern end of the parking area. And again, the dumpster would be required to be shielded from view by a wall, fence, or landscaping screening consistent with the A1A corridor overlay. Number 4, the proposed use shall be compatible with the availability and location of utility services. The applicant has provided that the City of Palm Coast sewer lines have been installed in the area along North Ocean Shore Boulevard, and that upon activation, the proposed project will tie directly into it. Any necessary utilities will be placed underground consistent with the A1A scenic corridor overlay. Number 5, screening and buffering shall be provided, which preserves or improves compatibility and harmony of the use and structure between the proposed use and adjacent nearby uses. The applicant has provided a proposed landscape plan, which meets all the minimum required landscape buffers and is intended to preserve the natural existing vegetation of the site. The buffers include a 40-foot buffer along North Ocean Shore, a 15-foot buffer along the south property line, a 15-foot buffer along the north property line, and a 25-foot buffer along the east. Number 6, signs and exterior lighting, if any, shall maintain the traffic safety, minimize glare and economic effects on adjacent nearby properties. Any new lighting will be required to comply with the county's marine sea turtle lighting requirements. Number 7, required yards and open spaces shall be provided, and the proposed building is well within all the required building setbacks. And again, the applicant is providing that 40-foot buffer along North Ocean Shore. Number 8, the height of the structure shall be in harmony with that of adjacent and nearby uses. The proposed development consists of a 2-story office building with a height of 33 feet 4 inches, compliant with the maximum allowed height of 35 feet in the RC district, and it's compatible with adjacent uses. And number 9, the economic effect of the proposed use shall be on adjacent and nearby property shall be positive. And again, any new construction on the parcel will be required to meet all minimum standards within the RC zoning district and all appearance and development standards of the A1A scenic corridor overlay. So your options as the board are to find that all the special exception criteria as listed in the guidelines have been met, and therefore approve project 2025-080044 for a special exception for professional and business offices at 4 Cinnamon Grove Lane, subject to the following conditions. 1, that this special exception would run with the land, that approval is limited to the use of the subject parcel as a professional business office, including insurance agent offices, that all development to occur in substantial conformance with the site plan submitted by Stevenson Wilcox and Associates dated February 2025, that all parking is to be off-street and fully contained within the subject parcel, that any new utility service drops be installed underground and shall be done in a manner which protects index trees, that all refuse collection containers shall be screened from the public view with a wall or fence 6 feet in height and shielding the refuse collection containers from view from the adjacent right-of-ways or adjacent residentially zoned or residential use parcels. The vegetative screening shall include shrubs which achieve a height of 5 feet within 1 year or any other form of vegetative screening that creates an effective visual screen. that any sign shall meet the requirements of LDC Section 7.0304 for the O1 Limited Office District. That proposed lighting will demonstrate compliance through building permit application with the county's marine sea turtle lighting requirements. That the applicant shall not commence development until all other agency approvals and/or permits are issued, and any other conditions provided by the board, including commencement and/or completion timing. Or you can find that all the special exception criteria as listed have not been met and therefore deny the request, or you can determine that more information is needed and continue the request to a time and date certain. If there's a decision on a denial, we would ask that you call out which criteria specifically have not been met for the record. And with that, I will close out, awaiting any questions or comments from the board, and submit my report for the record.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for staff?
Yeah, I have a couple. So this is a special exception request, not a variance request, right?
Yes.
Because there's been a confusion and ambiguity with the mixing of the terms. And so as a special exception request, it's a use request. We're not making any determination tonight regarding the site plan.
I would say as part of the special exception request, you are approving the conceptualness of the site plan.
Oh, I appreciate the applicant giving us the site plan, because the ones that come in here and say, well, we want you to give us a special exception, we're not going to tell you what we're going to use it for, that's a little concerning to me. So I appreciate the transparency here, but I'm just trying to figure out what we're here for tonight. We're just approving the use of this 1.5 acres for office use instead of being mixed use under
That's correct.
RC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the applicants would have to come back to just our TRC board with the fully engineered plans that would have to substantially meet the submitted plans that you are approving. So you
Okay.
are approving the conceptualness of the site plan.
And those won't come back to this board
Not to
because
you,
under
no.
SB 180, we're now out of the process.
Not because of Senate Bill 180, just because it would come back as a site development plan, less than 5 acres, and that's just approved
Okay.
by the TRC.
So who's the and I'm just asking, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but who is the guardian of the overlay criteria?
That would be us, the TRC.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions for staff? If none, application time or applicant presentation time, 15 minutes. Come on up. State your name, where you're from.
Hello, I'm George Duran, the owner of Stoughton and Duran, building the project. We've gone in depth here with this project here and hopefully been transparent, like Mark, you said. So our goal is to allow our client, who I think is going to bring a lot of great opportunities to our community. We're just being really transparent, trying to present this project along and hoping that we get approval as we've met all the criteria.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant from the board? Okay, if none, we're good, and we'll open it up to public comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Three minutes. Actually, are you for a group?
Excuse me?
Are you for a group?
Yeah, I'm representing Scenic A1A.
You have 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, I'm not here to try to cancel this or get this project revoked or anything, but I just want to point out a few discrepancies that...
Go ahead and just give us your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Dennis Clark. I'm with Scenic A1A Pride. We did review this project, and we submitted some comments, but the thing that was most unusual was the gross leasable floor area. the staff is submitting that it's 4,800 square feet, which is less than half the size of the 2 floors in the building. If you take the 2 floors, and I gave them the benefit of the doubt and subtracted the main lobby, the stairwell, and the elevator on both floors, you subtract 3,800 square feet from the 10,000, ending up with 6,200 square feet. So the minimum parking spaces should be 31 instead of 25, I think, at least in my opinion. They did provide 39 parking spaces, so that's great. One other way to look at that is they provided some great detail on how many offices are in there. So there's 25 desks, 16 workstations for a total of 41. So if they have 12 clients, they'll probably have 53 total people in the building, probably each who drove their own car. So I wouldn't be surprised if the parking lot does overflow from time to time when the business is fully working. Is that difficult to comprehend?
No, go finish up, and if we have comments for you.
Okay.
Mike, let's let him finish, and then we'll, yes.
Well, this is not relevant to what we're doing. We're here to decide whether or not an office building is for the site, and then it will come back for all of the nitty-gritty. This has nothing to do with what we're deciding tonight.
What's been presented to you is, a special exception only, and the site plan does not come back to the planning board since it's less than 5 acres. So I thought, I take exception to that, and I think that the planning board should approve the site plan, and that should be a part of the normal process. And I just wanted to say that, I think the building is exceptionally, it's an exceptional design. You've all seen it. It's ultra-modern, very nice, and it's got a green roof and everything. It's really cool. The thing is, in this area and in the scenic corridor overlay, we do encourage this type of development. So this was something that we talked about when we reviewed the site plan. But it's not disqualifying. It's covered. The Land Development Code does not preclude that type of building, so that's not a problem. And the only other thing is I did not see a tree preservation plan, and I did not see a sign plan in the site plan. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Jim Davis, I represent the HOA with Cinnamon Grove,
Sir,
and we've reviewed this. Huh?
You're not a board member of the HOA.
No,
Can't say you represent the HOA.
I'm not. I represent the HOA.
okay.
So we reviewed this also. The only thing that's changed is the number of parking spaces, and they got to come back for review again before we give them final approval, give them preliminary approval. So they will come back to us, but as a community, we don't have a problem with the building.
Okay.
The landscaping is good. I've seen the proposed drawing on that. That's good. I think it adds to the community. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Thank you. Any more public comment? All right, since no more public comment, we'll close public comment. Do we have any board discussion? And I think we could also give the applicant an opportunity for any rebuttal if need be. Would the applicant like to come up for any rebuttal if need be?
Can I state my name again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, George Duran with Stone and Duran. We appreciate your comments. Thank you. You know, we've taken them to consideration. Regarding the parking lot, like Jim said, I'm sure we'll sit down with Jim and Jim will go over like we talked about. So hopefully the scenic group will appreciate, you know, like you said, it's a beautiful building. And I think, once again, knowing the client, it's a great opportunity for our community and what's going to allow and bring to our community. So hopefully we get approved.
Thank you. Any board discussion at this time?
I'll make a motion to approve the project as it was stated.
If I could jump in here, if there is a motion to approve, we would ask that number 10, that you do discuss and include a commencement and/or completion timeline. If you remember, we had a couple special exceptions that had been appealed and were remanded back to the planning board by the Board of County Commission because they did not have that timeline. That's the, commencement shall begin within 2 years, or construction shall be completed within 5 or 10. That is up to the board's discretion.
Do we have to give both or just one? Do we have to do commencement and completion time, or?
The code specifically requires that you provide one or the other. It's the board shall prescribe a time limit within which the uses for which the special exception, if granted, shall be begun or completed, or both.
All right, I will amend that to say it should be completed within 5 years
5 years of the approval?
of the approval.
How does the board feel about 5 years?
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion? Ms. Secretary,
Sorry.
we have
I
a
was
motion and a second.
Writing our last requirement. So the motion on the floor is to approve the special exception with all the conditions stated. Timothy Connor?
And a commencement date of 5 years?
Correct.
Aye.
Aye. Dan Wilcox? Oh, you are recused.
Did you-
Michael Goodman?
Well, you'll have to come up to the podium. Name, all that good stuff again, please.
Again, George Duran with Stone Duran. My question is, within 5 years of permit or today's approval? That's,
From my understanding, it's the approval.
You can make it whatever you want. That's why I asked for clarification, and the clarification Mr. Goodman gave was from today.
As of today, I mean, 5 years
Yeah.
is,
5
Yeah, I
years is a
just-
substantial amount of time.
yeah, and I agree with you. I don't forever see that happening,
Okay.
but, you know, construction in our world and the way things work, but, you know, I just want to make sure I have it clear on my head from day of today or from
As of
day of
today.
permit. Okay.
Your motion.
thank you. I made it as of today.
Okay.
So we have, to reiterate the motion, it's 5 years commencement from today.
Okay, we'll go one more time.
Sorry,
Timothy-
just for clarification, I heard completion within 5 years. Was it commencement or completion?
I was under the impression that it was commencement.
I say completion.
You say completion? Sorry. So we're completion.
Okay. Timothy Connor?
Aye.
Michael Goodman?
Aye.
Anthony Lombardo?
Aye.
The motion does carry unanimously.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Moving on to item number 6, project number 20250700042. This is a request for a special exemption in the residential limited commercial district. This is also a quasi-judicial requiring disclosure of any ex parte communication. Does anyone on the board want to disclose? Being that there's none, we will move on to staff presentation.
This request is for another special exception located just a little bit up the road from the last application on North Ocean Shore Boulevard. The future land use is mixed use, low intensity. The zoning is RC residential limited commercial. There's no particular flood hazard being located in flood zone X. The soils are primarily well draining fine sands. This request specifically is for a restaurant use, or rather to convert an existing single-family dwelling into a restaurant. The applicant has proposed, again, to convert the existing single-family dwelling into a restaurant use. Access would be from North Ocean Shore Boulevard. It's not shown on this site plan, but if you can follow my mouse on the screen, the driveway access would come around to the side of the building and then into the lots to the rear. The applicant has proposed 25 total parking spaces, 2 of which would be paved ADA. 11 of these spaces would be in front of the existing structure to the east, the remaining in the rear, and are proposed to be valet. This site plan is also intended to utilize compacted shell as a parking material rather than pavement as required by our LDC. So it would require a waiver from parking surface area materials by the BOCC, and I have made that a condition of the approval as well, that the applicant obtain that waiver to be allowed to use compacted shell. See what else. The dumpster is located is proposed to be located in an existing garage to the west of the existing building. Here's a sketch of how that layout would look. The applicant providing that just over 800 square feet of the existing building would be used as seating area. That's our factor for how we calculate parking for a restaurant use. That's 1 spot for every 50 square feet of seating area. So based on the proposed plan, they do meet the minimum required. Give them a second. We also have a conceptual landscape plan meeting all of the minimum required buffers. There is a 20-foot landscape buffer required on the perimeter of the rear of the lot abutting existing residential uses, as well as the 5-foot landscape buffers along the sides in the front of the parcel, as well as that 40-foot front landscape buffer required adjacent to North Ocean Shore Boulevard. And then the only other pertinent detail is that there is also a bike parking area located in the rear of the lot as well. So summarizing the request, this parcel is just under an acre at 38,844 square feet. The request is for a special exception approval in the RC for a restaurant use. This would require the conversion of an existing single-family dwelling into a restaurant. So if there was an approval, there would be a change of use permit required. The existing building is about 2,100 square feet. The applicant has proposed that just over 800 would be used as seating area. They do meet all their minimum required setbacks. The proposed drainage was not provided at this stage. It would be contingent on obtaining a waiver from the parking area surface requirements from the Board of County Commission. The approval is contingent on this waiver because it is assumed that they would exceed their maximum allowed of impervious, or if they were not to obtain that waiver. The minimum required landscape buffers are proposed, and they are also providing that they would remove no index trees. Again, there's proposed bike parking in the rear. We have provided 23 compacted shell parking spaces, 2 paved ADA compliant spaces. Just want to bring attention that this is a conceptual hand-drawn site plan, hypothetically drawn to scale, but when it does ultimately have to be engineered, the exact layout of those might change. 11 of those spaces and the ADA spaces are in front of the building, and the remaining spaces would be in the rear with valet. The A1A Scenic Committee reviewed. Again, I had attached the preliminary comments rather than their actual comments, and I had forwarded you the actual comments earlier this morning. And we have received several public comments or objections. So reading the special exception criteria into the record, again, ingress and egress from the property shall be provided for automotive and pedestrian safety and convenience, shall not unduly interfere with traffic flow and control, and shall provide access in case of a fire catastrophe. Access to the property is proposed through the improvement and utilization of an existing driveway connection to North Ocean Shore Boulevard. Any modifications to the existing driveway will require review and permitting by FDOT, as that's their road. As a mid-block parcel and absent any formal crosswalks, any pedestrian or bicycle access would cross the road to access the existing multi-use greenway trail located along the east side of A1A. Number 2, off-street parking and loading areas shall be provided as required. Based on the provided total seating area of 816 square feet and the requirement of 1 space for every 50 square feet of seating area, in addition to 1 space for every employee on shift, 20 spaces are required, including 1 handicap accessible space. The applicant is proposing to provide 23 spaces and 2 handicap accessible spaces. Again, about half of which being located in front of the building, half of which in the rear as valet. It is assumed that proposed parking and access areas would exceed the maximum allowed impervious area on the site, and so the approval is therefore recommended to be conditioned on the applicant obtaining that waiver of parking area surface requirements from the Board of County Commissioners to enable the parking area to be developed with crushed shell rather than asphalt or concrete. Number 3, refuse and service area shall be located with consideration to the above, and the applicant is proposing to place the dumpster within an existing garage located to the rear of the existing building. Number 4, the proposed use shall be compatible with the availability and location of utility services, whether public or private. The conversion of the existing septic tank intended for a single-family dwelling would require review and/or potential conversion to a commercial restaurant use, and that would be required through the Department of Health. Number 5, screening and buffering shall be provided, which preserves or improves compatibility and harmony of use and structure between the proposed use and adjacent nearby uses. Again, the applicant has proposed the 20-foot landscape buffers on the northeast and south property lines when adjacent to residential uses, and a 5-foot buffer when adjacent to other commercial uses. Again, highlighting that at the front of the property to the north is currently a real estate office, and the property to the south is a commercial retail building. Number 6, signs and exterior lighting, if any, shall maintain traffic safety and minimize glare and economic effects on adjacent and nearby properties. No new lighting is proposed at this time, and any new lighting would be required to comply with the county's marine sea turtle lighting requirements. Number 7, required yards and open spaces shall be provided. The proposed renovated building is well within the building setback requirements. And again, there's that 40-foot buffer along A1A. Number 8, the height of the structure shall be in harmony with that of adjacent and nearby uses and structures. The building is a single story with a height of less than 35 feet. And number 9, the economic effect of the proposed use on adjacent and nearby property shall be positive. The addition of the proposed use are complementary to existing uses in the area, and any new construction on the parcel would be required to meet all the minimum standards in the RC district and all appearance and development standards of the A1A Scenic Corridor overlay. So your options as the board are to find that all the special exception criteria as listed have been met and therefore approve project 2025070042 for a special exception for a restaurant use subject to the following conditions. That the special exception run with the land, limited to use as a restaurant, that the applicant obtains approval of a waiver of parking area surface requirements from the Board of County Commission, that all development occur in substantial conformance with the provided hand-drawn site plan, that all parking is to be off-street and fully contained within the subject parcel, that any new utility service drops be installed underground and shall be done in a manner which protects index trees, that all refuse collection containers shall be screened from public view, again with the options of vegetative screening, that any signs shall meet the requirements of the LDC section 70301 for the limited office district, that any proposed lighting demonstrate compliance through the building permit application with the county's marine sea turtle lighting requirements, that the application not commence development until all other agency approvals and/or permits are issued, and any other conditions imposed by the board, including, again, the commencement or completion timing. Or you could find that all the special exception criteria as listed have not been met and therefore deny the project, or you could determine that more information is needed and continue the request to a time and date certain. If there is a decision on a denial, we would ask that you call out the specific criteria not met for the record. With that, I will close out, awaiting any questions or comments from the board, and submit my report for the record.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for staff? Mr. Goodman.
How come this, you have it wrong? Last page you had up was about the previous.
Yeah, there was some mix-ups there. It referenced for Cinnamon Grove as opposed to this one. Recognizing that, I think we move forward then.
Oh, apologies. I was using the same template for the PowerPoint.
That was the last thing on the screen, so it didn't make sense.
So your denial would be for application 20.
Is that all you had, Mr. Goodman? Is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Anyone else?
I do. If this use is approved, it becomes commercial, is there not a requirement for on-site retention?
There would be. Again, that would technically would be required to be approved at the engineered site plan level.
Is
So
that-
again, you're approving the conceptual use and the conceptual site plan. And then they would have to come back with an engineered site plan to be approved by the technical review committee.
Okay, what about a water management district permit? Would that be required?
It will.
I believe for commercial, most likely, again, that would be determined at the TRC technical review.
It would be what's known as a 10-2
So,
self-certification.
Does the applicant know that some of these parking spaces may go away and they can't do what they want to do? If that happens?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
If I might just continue that same thought, there are a lot of hurdles on this that aren't being thought of at this point. I mean, we're looking at the use on this, not the design. I've got to be careful I don't get in the engineering mode, but there are utilities that are being brought out there that they're going to be required to connect to as well, lift stations, waters, and everything else. Just be aware as the applicant, whoever you are, that there's a lot more to what you're going to have to do than what you're seeing on the paper right here, just from my
Yeah,
perspective.
but they also, it's missing the cross connection that you want usually between properties.
But, I mean, again, I'm just looking at the use. I don't want to go into the details of designing it.
Yeah, there's so many details here that
just-
are missing.
let the owner, let the applicant know that there's some serious hurdles to clear.
But we're on use right now,
Yeah.
so. Any other questions for staff? Applicant? Come on up. Presentation, please.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. State your name, where you're
Don
from.
Wetzel. I'm the owner.
Thank you.
Don't know what to tell you other than the fact it's enough property. It's going to be something very similar to the guy across the street, Brody's or Rody's or whatever,
Brody's, mhm.
except with real parking for it. He applied for 300 square feet. He's got that on his front porch. I've got 800 inside. So basically, I got 3 times the parking that they've got offered across the street from me with exactly the same request. Coquina driveway, no disturbed trees, all the oaks are there. Septic was all replaced under permit, and it was a drain field installed. It probably doesn't comply currently to a restaurant drain field, although it's never been occupied since it was installed. I already talked to the septic guy. It could go to whatever your commercial structure is, restaurant. My point was, I'm not going to open a restaurant. The restaurateur that buys the property is. The purpose of this is to be approved for a restaurant. No issue with connecting to sewer, no issue with, other than the parking to be the surface that I asked. I want it to be coquina, not taking out an asphalt driveway and covering, there's 36 parking spots or something, not 20, whatever she said. I got 24 in the backyard and there's 12 in the front yard. That's 36, not 24. And there's 2 that are shown on an ADA parking in front of the wall and the driveway there. So there's actually 38. There should never be an issue with parking. I assume most of the parking could be done in the front since it's only an 800 square foot restaurant. We're not going to be out there on the street like the roadies up around the corner. So I think we've complied with everything she suggested and asked. I'm a contractor for 35 years, so it's not like I don't know how to do things. If there's a specialty requirement for plumbing, I got the septic handled or the sewer connection. So you tell me. Any other questions? You said that you seem to think there's a lot of issues with it. What would that be?
I don't want to get into the engineering aspect of it. I do a lot of these site designs, and I see some other components that you're missing out on. There is access to a newly constructed force main out there.
Access to what?
A newly constructed force main in front. There's a lot that you'll be required to connect to. Just putting ideas out there. Be aware of what you're up against.
I know exactly what I'm up against.
Okay. As long as you're aware of it, I'm good. I'm looking at use, not design.
You're entitled to your use. I don't think we're going to hold back on that. I think that the discussion up here is just designed to make sure that you're getting into it with your eyes open, because there's already, as you say, as you witnessed, there's already unacceptable overflow parking up in the hammock generated by
Well, the whole
restaurants.
place has got no parking.
I hear you.
Well, this does.
I'm not an engineer, so
This
I
does.
don't know. But your
If we
parking
put
plan looks
coquina out
aggressive.
there,
It
I'll
looks
park 35
optimistic to me.
I'll park 35 cars in that parking lot, and you'll never see one in that 40-foot landscape easement.
I
Every
hope
other
that comes
restaurant-
true.
Every other restaurant. I live on A1A. I live right up the street from this house.
Okay.
Every restaurant on that street is full out in the landscape area. Not one single one is open that doesn't park all that 40 feet in front on A1A. Every inch of it, including the new pizza joint that just went there.
Again,
That being said,
we're simply looking
we
at
got
the
plenty of
use.
space.
We're not looking at the design. We're going to go back.
Like they say, never say never.
Yeah, never say never is right.
Is anybody going to address the dangerous corner Because I know.
The what?
The dangerous corner that we're on.
It's not on a
No,
corner.
not on dangerous corner? We'll ask Mr. Clark in a little bit whether he thinks it's a dangerous corner, because he seems to believe that.
Who said that? Oh, somebody commented that?
I'm just
Well,
saying,
this-
you're not letting me talk. You seem to be interrupting me.
no,
I
what I'd
let you
like to
talk when you
explain
talk.
to you is we
Well,
had
you're
a
not letting me talk,
street
sir.
that
Sir,
crossed-
if we're going to have this cross discussion, we're going to stop here. If I ask you a question, you can answer it. And when I'm talking to you, let me speak. It's the fair thing to do, correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So my question again is, since it's on a dangerous curve where you're doing 50 miles an hour, are you going to ask to allow a left-hand turn coming out of your parking lot?
Actually, I believe that one of the comments suggested that not get a left-hand turn. As I've seen on most of the other restaurants, it's right turn only on the exit.
I just wanted
This
to ask a question.
particular access has a stop sign on it. It was access across the real estate office through the middle of my yard before they deeded it back. If you look, there's a little, well, it's actually not on this plot plan.
So there was originally a
Yeah.
cross connection?
Yeah, I actually got the original survey that shows the little stop sign and all that silly nonsense on it, but it crossed where the real estate office is to hit that road that goes down the side of it.
Right.
And went right through my yard. So they made it for a left or a right. It's this huge asphalt thing that they stuck out there. I didn't do any of that.
No, I'm just
But that being said, there's a stop sign currently on it in the landscape area up in the front 40 feet. So I believe that they had used it initially to turn left or right.
But presently you have one driveway coming in and one driveway coming out.
I showed no driveways
I
for the
live
simple
there.
fact of the Coquina request, because it won't have a paved driveway going in or out other than the asphalt that currently exists.
No, but currently there is a circular driveway in front of the
Yes,
house?
there is, absolutely, a dirt
Dirt one.
Coquina driveway. We brought some in, it was already done before I bought it.
And, unfortunately or fortunately, I live in that area, and you've owned this property for a long time. I remember a number of oak trees coming down,
A number of what?
oak trees being removed on the property for those buildings that you put in the back,
Never removed one tree, not one tree came out of there. I took a palm tree out in the front yard. That's the only
that's
tree
all right.
that's ever come out since I've owned it.
all right, I kind of.
Now, there's a stump from old oak right on the right front of the corner of the house that's about that big around that I still can't grind out. I already tried. It's petrified wood. They took it out before I ever bought.
Okay.
But no, never took a tree out. Built the garage around the trees for the simple fact, the weird location that it's in.
Kudos on that. Okay. Well, that's it. Oh, and you were, you're talking about valet parking. How can you guarantee that? I mean,
That little shed there, that's a valet location. And everything in the back's going to be valeted.
so that's going to be valet,
For the back, not the front.
no, but it's going to be valet for all the hours it's open, or I'm just curious.
During the restaurant hours that it's open, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board to the applicant?
Oh,
Mr. Goodman?
nah,
No, you're good?
I'll let go at this point.
All right. If no other questions from the board to the applicant, we could go ahead and open up to public comment.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Dennis Clark, representing Scenic A1A Pride. Like the fact that he's providing a lot of parking. In fact, it is 38 total spaces, including the ADA. So that's a discrepancy that the staff had in their report. If you compare it to this particular site plan, the only problem is if that if they do need stormwater retention and many of those parking spaces go away, I think there should be something in the conditionals for the special exception that states that any increase in the seating area or employees must provide the required on-site parking. So that would be any increase from the 816 square feet must provide the proper parking for that amount. That's why we have parking problems in the hammock. I have concerns about the dump truck getting into that area and backing out. The trash truck for the dumpster, but it is, according to Mr. Wetzel, it's 20 feet wide, so he says it should be okay. Sewer will be required, and I think that large delivery trucks are going to have to unload on the right-of-way, because if you look at the actual aerial of this site, there's a lot of trees right in the center area, so there's not enough room for a large truck to turn around. So it'll be the same as roadies, where the large delivery trucks park in the right-of-way to make their deliveries. And then as far as the safety of the driveway, single driveway entrance and exit should be provided for safety. Right now, it looks like there are two driveways, and that could be confusing for people who think that there's maybe a car coming out of one and cars coming out of the other side. So that, I know FDOT approves that, so I guess hopefully they'll do their job correctly. One other thing is that the sign location is not shown, but you really can't do that until you figure out where the driveway is. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I make another statement?
Go ahead, Mr.
We're
Goodwin.
talking about a conceptual here. Right now, we're just talking about
Mr.
whether or
Goodman,
not.
Can you, thank you. I've heard
Right
that-
now, we're only talking about whether or not we're going to give a variance for a restaurant. We're not talking about the nuts and the bolts where
A special exception.
It's an
yes.
special
yeah.
exception. So we're talking about a special exception for a parcel. Whether he puts a monkey house on here or whatever it is that he's going to do, it makes no difference. It's a special exception, and we're talking about the minutia. And I think we're getting off track. Do we feel that this site is the right site for a restaurant? That's it. There's nothing beyond that. I mean, the size of the property is fine, and they still have to come back to the building department to get approval under the code. So we're talking about things that are not even relevant at this present time. And I'm just the point I'm trying to make. We're getting off tangent.
Can we then remove the condition with the approval that it would be in substantial conformance with this site plan that's generally put out here, that just be a carte blanche open land use?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I thought I read in the approval that we would be approving it based generally on this concept plan, which I think we've all expressed a little bit of concern about. And just again, retain the Board of County Commissioners allowing the shell drive. I'm trying to tailor this thing around a little bit so we can get some forward progress here.
I would offer that the reason that we have special exceptions usually tied to a site plan or to a conceptual site plan is because, as the applicant stated, he's most likely going to sell the property. Whoever purchases it, if there is no conceptual idea that the planning board hasn't approved, they can essentially do anything as long as it meets, zoning requirements, and you will never see it again.
Public comment still open?
Yeah, public comments is still open at this time, so should we run through that before we start getting into, because then we'll have rebuttal, board comments, and we could talk about that a little bit more.
I did want to make one comment, though, just for clarification purposes, and I asked Simone to bring this slide up and the next slide. You're not solely approving the use, you're also confirming that the request meets each one of these guidelines. So there are certain criteria that you're considering with regard to, you are considering off-street parking, compatibility with adjoining uses, and things of that nature. So I just wanted to make sure that you were still taking these guidelines into consideration and not just considering the restaurant use.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Public comment, still in motion or act?
Yeah, if you
Yes,
didn't, then we can swear you in now. Raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may proceed. Just state your name and address for the record.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Brent Bruns. I own the Shape of Water restaurant, still under construction. I'm in favor of the restaurant, and for a number of reasons. As the hammock continues to grow, it's going to require more commercial as well as residential, and we still don't have enough eating places there of a nice caliber. We don't want fast food in that area. We're looking for more in a finer dining. This kind of fits that criteria. It's small in nature, and it's going to be probably a special type restaurant that probably isn't even in the hammock at this point in time. There's a number of restaurants we don't have there that would be really good to have. I think the plan is small, and I think the community deserves to have things of this nature there. It's not a gas station. It's not anything that we don't want. These are things that the people there are asking for. So that's my comment on that.
Thank you. Any more public comment? Would the applicant like to come up and have any rebuttal on any of the comments?
Did you ask me to rebut what he said?
If you have any rebuttal, you can.
Well, not really. I mean,
Discussion.
candidly, I think that I worked quite diligently to try to make sure that we were there. I have one objection that the beautification guy wants, is to limit the 800 square feet. He told me initially when I laid this thing out, the lady in zoning, that I needed one parking spot for every 50 square feet of seating. Well, I got 800 feet. I need 16 parking spots for 800 feet. 17 if you want to make an argument over it. I got 37 or something stupid. How come there's an exception in there about I got to come back to you and go, wow, I put my back patio out there and let 3 people sit there. I never seen Brody's or Rody's or whatever it's called with his 300 square feet of approval. His porch has 300 feet on it, all right? I ate in his restaurant. I've been inside. I've been in the rooms in his restaurant. It's not 300 square feet. So the biggest issue I got, I didn't lie. I came and initially established the 30 whatever parking spots for the entire square footage of the whole building, including the bathrooms. So the point being is I'm not using them. And I'm not, obviously it's got to have a kitchen in it. Obviously it's got to have a place for an office to collect money and all that good stuff. So I brought it into where I felt it would be functional. It'd be twice the size of the little one across the street. That being said, it should comply with everything we were looking for. I think it's a perfect spot. And, listen, I don't want to live in it. I got the paver guy next door to me. I got the house guy next door to me. I got the realtor on the other side of me. Who wants to live there? I don't want to sell it. It's worth a fortune. It's an acre on A1A. So the point being, it should be a commercial building of some sort. I don't care if they put an office building in it. The point being, it should be commercial. I got plenty of space. That's all I got to say. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Do you decide now or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That's what we're here for. All right. Public comments closed. Any board discussion? If no board discussion, would someone like to make a motion on this item? Don't all jump at once.
I'll make a motion that we move to approve it based on these staff analysis conditions that are strictly delineated there, indicating getting the Board of County Commissioners approval with the non-uniform, non-conforming surface and all that, and a lot of the other conditions that staff has brought forward. I think those are correct to do that.
So we have the,
I'll second it.
we have a commencement and completion
Yeah,
timeline.
don't forget
we
the
have to
timeline.
Call out as well. So, do you want to add that to your
I would
motion,
put a
sir?
sunset clause on it for a reasonable timeframe.
There's a structure already there, so it's not a
I know.
so, I mean, I don't think it needs to be the 5 years that we gave the other
No,
people to build a
I don't
building.
think so either.
But it should.
3 years, you should be able to figure something out
I
in
was
3
thinking
years.
3 years
Yeah,
as well.
3 years would be,
Commencement or completion?
oh, completion.
Yeah,
3 years completion.
I'll go with that, yes, sir.
And I'll second the motion.
I see staff chattering over there. Do we need to know anything?
There's consensus that completion would be okay. And then just one other thing is whether you wanted to consider the additional condition suggested by the A1A.
No, I don't think we need to.
No.
So we have a motion with some conditions and a 3-year completion timeframe. Do
Okay.
we have to go through those conditions again?
Nope, you're good. Okay.
All right.
So the motion on the floor is to approve.
The motion on the floor is to approve. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Ms. Secretary, we have a motion and a second.
Yep. Dan Wilcox,
Yes.
Timothy Connor,
Aye.
Michael Goodman,
Aye.
Anthony Lombardo.
Aye.
The motion does carry unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 7. This is legislative.
Now it's going
This
to
is-
get.
yep, here he comes.
Adam's coming
Here
up.
he
Now it's gonna
comes.
get
This is
long.
his time to shine. He steps out from behind the computer screens.
curtain.
So this is item number 7, legislative not requiring disclosure of any ex parte communication, review and recommendations on an amendment to the floodplain management ordinance to comply with the requirements of Senate Bill 180 by deleting the 5-year cumulative substantial improvement period.
Thank you.
Mr. Mingle?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not Simone Kenny. For this item and the next item, they're both legislative, and these are both items that you would be reviewing in your capacity as the reviewing body giving recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners. We've scheduled both of these for the November 17th board meeting for first reading. That will be held at 5:30. I know people watching at home are just wondering when these are both going to come up. And then the second reading and adoption on these, if we're successful tonight, if you recommend approval and don't continue these, would be December 1st at 9:30 in the morning or soon thereafter, as we could have that second reading and potentially adoption hearing. This one is linked to Senate Bill 180. We've had quite a bit of discussion about Senate Bill 180 in the recent past. And I had just done a floodplain management ordinance revision at the request of the Division of Emergency Management related to mobile homes and the mobile home chassis and how the flood elevation is determined on those. I think that was approved in May and hadn't really contemplated this. Otherwise, I would have maybe held up on the one or the other to make sure that these all happened right around the same time. Instead, this amendment, because of the effective date of June 26, 2025, this amendment's required because right now we're out of compliance with Senate Bill 180. Senate Bill 180, among its other requirements, the things that it listed specific to this, it required deletion of any local ordinance which adopted a cumulative substantial improvement period. For us, we had adopted the state's model ordinance. At the time when we adopted it, we did not have a specific cumulative period that was identified, and we discussed it with the Division of Emergency Management staff. Other jurisdictions were doing somewhere around 5 or 10 years, and we said, well, let's go ahead and do the 5-year period. And the way that works is we're talking about a substantial improvement or a substantial damage claim. This is for a structure that does not meet the FEMA requirements. And so often what's going to happen here is it's going to be a structure that's below the flood zone. It's going to be on maybe a non-compliant foundation in a VE zone where it doesn't have pile construction. And so it's one of those likely. And what happens then is you have that damage or you have improvement. The substantial qualifier is 50% or greater of the properties, the structure's market value at the time that the damage occurs or at the time of permitting of the substantial improvement. And then when we put in a cumulative qualifier there, that's on a rolling 5-year schedule. So if you can imagine what happens here, I've got a home on the ocean. It's a slab on grade. It was not non-compliant when it was initially built. I had no issues with it. It was built in the 50s. It doesn't have a pier foundation, so now it's non-compliant. It is damaged. Let's say it's $100,000 value. Skip the damage. I intend to come in and replace the roof. And so I replace the roof, $30,000 improvement. I have to, as the building department, track that expense. And so then that's 30% of the market value of the structure. I come in then with an air conditioning replacement, $10,000. So now I've spent 40%. And then I come in with an addition to that structure. Maybe it has some interior completion along with it, some work. Probably a better example to have some interior remodeling that's happening, not a physical addition, but interior remodeling that's $20,000 more. I would then, as the building department, have to deny that permit because I would be exceeding the 50% market value that's in that tallied cumulative 5-year period. The state, I think at least when this was proposed as part of Senate Bill 180, said we don't want to do that anymore. They were trying to react to the recent storms that we had. FEMA is concerned about this because FEMA's looked at this and said, I don't think this was a good idea for you to do this. But it is currently in effect, and so what we proposed in order to comply with Senate Bill 180 is this change to our ordinance, deleting the 5-year cumulative requirement from our ordinance. It shows up twice in our code, once in the Code of Ordinances under Building Code optional amendments, and then it shows up also in the Land Development Code itself in the floodplain ordinance section of our code. With your review tonight and your hopeful recommendation for approval, we'll stay on that schedule for the November 17th first reading, December 1st adoption. And again, this is intended to remain compliant with the Senate Bill 180 requirements. This may yet change. There may be an amendment to 180, which may have us bringing this back in some way. And in that point, we may actually want to discuss the 5-year clock in more detail, because certainly I think there will be some reasons to talk about that better at that point. With that, Mr. Chair, I'll close. Wait, any questions or comments? Submit my report for the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for staff in regards to this? We call it application. Any questions? Do we open this up for the whole, we just go through the same?
Yes, sir.
All right. We don't really have an applicant, right? And so we just go straight to public comment. Any public comment?
Raymond Royer, Painters Hill. Yeah, I commented on 180 at numerous times at the county board, and I asked them to consider reviewing this. As an applicant, in my early application, I've actually been under this condition where I was told I was in nonconformity, and if my building ever exceeded 50% or more damage, I would have to move my whole structure of my house. I had a 6.5-foot setback, and then you just put a 10-foot setback on me. So you put a condition on me that, as I discussed earlier, how do I ensure that? I mean, right now, my insurance is for this structure as the footprint as my structure is now. So if I suffer damage of 50% more damage, I'm required now, in order to rebuild, move my whole structure to the new setback rule. I tried to get that eliminated, but you proceeded to put that in my stipulation in my application. And again, like Adam said, the legislators did this because the burdensome that these people that have suffered in these storms have not only had to go through the counties to try to rebuild on the original footprint, but no, the county was coming in and said, no, you just got to meet these new setbacks. So they were ended up building smaller homes because of new setbacks of requirements. So I would consider not disfavoring this 180 bill. There's a lot of good conditions in this that, as a homeowner, and these poor homeowners that suffer these hurricanes, going through these ordinances and also not receiving the full funds from their insurance plans, receiving 10 cents on the dollar, for their insurance claims. And there's some places right now on the west of Florida, they're still not building because they're still going through the zoning issues. So I would table this. I wouldn't vote on this at all. I mean, if I was a member of the board up there. Yeah, this 180 bill, you got to slow it down. I mean, I understand you're trying to regulate and help with the growth. But the same token, there's people that built homes in the 50s, like my development was back in 59, and my home was built in 79. So at one point, my house was approved by the county board, for the 6.5-foot setback. But then I come in front of you, and I'm told, because of the new setback rules, I'm in non-compliance. So I just had a taste of what 180 is about. So I'm actually in favor of the 180 bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more public comment? No more public comment? Does staff want to rebuttal or talk anymore?
No, sir.
Okay. Do we have a motion? Do we have a comment?
Well, as I understand this proposal, we're deleting the 5-year cumulative substantial improvement period and alleviating that problem. So I move to recommend to the board that they approve this change in the ordinance.
Is that a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion for approval. Is there a second? I'll second.
Can I second?
You
can second.
I can second?
I'm asking, Sarah, does he have to pass? You have to pass the metaphorical gavel to
Give
be
me
able
the
to
gavel.
second.
I'll second.
I took the gavel.
Do we have
Yeah.
Mr. Wilcox? Mr. Wilcox.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the motion on the floor is to recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners. Dan Wilcox,
Aye.
Timothy Connor,
Aye.
Michael Goodman,
Aye.
and Anthony Lombardo.
Aye.
The motion does carry unanimously.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Item number 8. This is another legislative not requiring disclosure of any ex parte communication. This is review and recommendation on the adoption of an ordinance related to certified recovery residences as required by Senate Bill 954. Staff?
Yes, sir. Not unlike the Item 7, this one is another one that arguably is required by statute. And so they really don't have a whole lot of options with this. If we don't do it, then we're not in compliance in the end. And so this one actually has a time frame with it where previous one arguably became effective when the Senate Bill 180 became effective. This one, we have to adopt this ordinance by January 1st, 2026. Our ordinance identifies areas for us, multifamily zoning districts, where certified recovery residences can be located. Provides a review process for new applications that are submitted for these. Follows the text of Senate Bill 954 and its outline process for reasonable accommodation. The legislature was very helpful with this one. They went through and told us how to take in the applications, how to process them, all related to reasonable accommodations. And then Senate Bill 954 does not supersede any declaration of condominium or covenant, and that is spelled out in the actual text of the bill. This, and you saw how I treated this in the staff report, that, to me, I was likening this to the changes, and I think it happened in the mid-90s on community residential homes, when those were effectively mandated by the state. The state said that this is something that local governments need to provide for. And this process, it sets up a certification entity for the certified recovery residences. I think it refers to it as a nonprofit, so a little different than what we had done before, where it was a state agency typically that was doing these. This time it's going to be a nonprofit. But with this approval of this ordinance, we will then be in compliance with the statutory requirement that's included in Senate Bill 954 for these certified recovery residences where they can be located within our jurisdiction, within unincorporated Flagler County. With that, Mr. Chair, I'll close, await any questions or comments from the board, submit my report for the record, and I'll also look to Ms. Spector for any clarification on anything I got wrong with this. We collaborated significantly on this, on putting this together and meeting this deadline. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Does the board have any questions for staff?
What is a certified recovery residence?
And that's the question. So it's as the legislature described it, it's a treatment option in a residential setting, and so that it's I think it was in the legislative analysis where it described it as being preferable to a institutionalized type treatment process. And so that the benefit here is that it's in a residential setting, it's in a group setting, and typically almost as if it is a home. There are classes of these. I think the initial classes, this is where I'm going to get some of this wrong, but the initial classes are where overnight accommodations do not happen, and it's a smaller group, and it's without, I think also without it has a kind of a paraprofessional that leads the treatment portions. You're under a doctor's care, but your paraprofessional is the one who handles the treatment itself. And then you have a kind of a middle of the road classification, I remember right, that is a little bit bigger, is maybe still not overnight, and I think the third one includes the overnights, if I'm remembering right, but I may still have gotten most or all of that wrong. It is outlined in the statute. It is, short answer, it's for drug recovery. And so it's for those who have substance abuse issues. And so that it's supposed to be that the best treatment that can be offered to these people who are battling addiction can be done in a residential setting. And the state legislature has effectively mandated that local governments will provide for these within their zoning districts. And then we'll go further and provide reasonable accommodations for those to be located within their zoning districts if somebody then has a grievance as far as where these can and cannot locate.
Okay, so this, let me see if I understand. I'm going to restate this in an analogy. So this is the 6-bed assisted living in a private residential home compared to an assisted living facility like Grand Oaks, and as imposed in drug substance abuse rehab setting. So Marchman House over here and a little residential setting over here with these restrictions, and it happens in a regular neighborhood in a house.
I think you've hit that right, yes, sir. That it's analogous to what we had seen before, the community residential homes. There are thresholds that are in each of those classes that I can't quote, but I think you're correct with that analogy, and then we've set this up as being permitted within multifamily zoning districts. So you're not going to see this in the typical neighborhood, so that hopefully in that multifamily setting that this would be more akin to what you'd expect there. It's going to have a little bit higher of a density that's expected with them, because there are the numbers are such that I think you'd be better off in multifamily than you would be in a typical single-family district.
And the state has said, we want every county to accommodate these kinds of uses, and this is our ordinance to do that.
Every county and every city. Yes, sir.
Separately.
Separate.
So the 5 municipalities in Flagler County have to do this too?
We believe so, and don't know yet. We're thinking we may be the model for this if they want to follow what we've done. We've got a model that we worked from to put this together, and so that we think others may follow then in order to meet that January 1st deadline.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff from the board? So when you say multifamily, I mean, so like in a duplex zone, I mean, so there's some, well, I'm kind of going into like more of a Palm Coast, but if you have some, single-family houses and then you have some multifamily duplex areas as well, I mean, so would it have to be strictly multifamily, or can it be mixed with single-family and you have some multifamily in that area as well? Would they be able to fall into that area?
So you may be thinking of, and we have that in our code, and we have that primarily because of those areas that are in Palm Coast where ITT had done the kind of the single-family duplex, single-family duplex kind of setup. We have an R2 zoning, which allows both single-family and duplex development. We do not classify duplexes as multifamily. This would actually be an R3 type zoning in our setup. And I'm trying to think right now as I'm sitting here, I don't think we have any R3 that are left and unincorporated, that they had basically all either annexed to become part of the city of Palm Coast when the city was created, or they've since annexed into one of the other jurisdictions. This would give the ability for someone to do a comp plan amendment, a rezoning, and then come in with one of these as that. And then also, I didn't think about this, but this may somehow work in with the, I didn't think about this before, but the Live Local Act. I don't know that I guess that potential is there. But saying that out loud, if you imagine what I'm saying there, commercial or industrial lands can develop under the R3 requirements, but they have to have an affordable component. I suppose that could also happen here, where you could have the certified recovery residences as another layer with that, but I don't think we've really played that out completely. But the short answer there is that it would not be in your single-family zoning districts. It would be in a multifamily is the intent.
Okay, thank you. Public comment? Says no public comment. No public comment, nope. Any board discussion?
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Ms. Secretary.
The motion on the floor is to recommend approval. Dan Wilcox,
Aye.
Timothy Connor,
Aye.
Michael Goodman,
Aye.
Anthony Lombardo.
Aye.
The motion does carry unanimously.
Thank you very much. Number 9, staff comments.
None this evening. Just hope everybody has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you back in December. Does look like we will have a meeting.
Thank you very much. Same here. Number 10, board comments. Public comment in regards to nothing that we spoke about tonight. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second. Do we have, Ms. Secretary, no, we don't have to, okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.